Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Absolute WSL and Women's Championship Show. What you all couldn't see there was Paul doing a fantastic air guitar to the theme tune. And
did you see that? Did you all see that?
No one saw it, Paul. I think you're just gonna, for the rest of the show, just kind of
just get Josh to put the video up from Manchester of me doing Journey.
That was quite.
I think that needs to be seen. I do have to say, however, Mark, so literally quick off the mark. So good evening to you. Emma straight away in there as well. Good evening, good evening. And Chloe, it feels like forever since I've seen you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. But glad to be back, really.
I was going to say, happy to be back.
Yeah,
good, fantastic. Hey, Graham's joining us. Good evening, Graham, to you. Paul, fantastic subtitle there with your name. I can't wait for your recap later. I really can't. How are you?
Very yellow and very blue today.
Yellow and blue.
For no particular reason whatsoever.
None in the slightest.
Just the edge. I love the fact that our backgrounds are yellow as well. So like it could have been.
I mean, I'm not saying I did it for a reason, but I'm not saying I did it for a reason. And Rosie, good evening to you. How are you?
Good evening. I'm very good. Yeah, I'm again in a different background because I'm dog sitting. I've just been all over the world.
Well, when you're in demand as a Chelsea star, you know.
Exactly. VIP dog sitter over here.
Exactly. You never know where the next day is going to take you.
If you hear like random grunting, there's a Frenchie somewhere. It's not me.
What's happening in this background? What's going on? Emily, you've joined at the right time. Good evening. We are good. Team Chaos are back and ready to go. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is, of course, all of the Olympic drama and all of the latest news. Now, first up, Rosie, we're going to come straight to you. In comparison to the Brazil-Spain game, the USA-Germany, it didn't feel like a lot happened until like the last bit of extra time. So it ended 1-0, very fine margins, but kind of take us through it from your perspective.
Well, first half was boring. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it.
Don't mince. No, we're all about honesty on this podcast.
It was boring. I didn't want to watch it. I didn't want to be there. But yeah, nothing really happened. I mean, it was very, very different to the first time the USA played Germany in the Olympics. So USA were completely dominant in the first match. Germany didn't look like they knew how to kick a ball. But yeah, it was just a completely different match. And you could tell that Germany had gone away from that game, had, I don't know, looked up on the US tactics and came back a lot stronger. But it still just wasn't enough. The whole match, you could kind of tell that the US were going to come out on top. And I don't know, I just couldn't really see another outcome. And Katzenberger was amazing as always. And
I put that in my notes, actually. If we just take a moment for our lovely AKB. Honestly, that match, I think it was it 9 massive saves that she pulled off to keep Germany in it for so long. But yeah, you're absolutely right. They absolutely smashed them in the group stages, didn't they, the US? And it got to the point where you were like, okay, Germany have stepped up. So was this the Germany then, Rosie, that we expected to see in those earlier group stages?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in that US match, you could kind of tell that something wasn't really there. There was missing something and they really went away and then came back a lot stronger, but it just wasn't really enough.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, like we said, 1-0. And that was, of course, the wonderful Sophia Smith. Rosie, what do you think about America's attacking line? Because their front three, they look almost unstoppable, don't they? Like, you always feel like there's going to be a goal at some point.
Yeah, they've got a nickname. Is it the Holy Trinity?
That sounds about right to me. Yeah.
All 3 of them have now got 3 goals each, which is so cool. That was Smith's third. That's unreal. The fact that they found that sort of system and thing that works for them. Because, every team needs to have something that they can rely on that works for them, and that's their formula. And it just somehow works every game. And Yeah. Go amaze.
I was like, no, sorry, I just muted myself. We were talking about dogs earlier before we came live. I don't know if anyone hear my dog. He's currently going absolutely mad in the background, running up and down the stairs as he's got zoomies. So yeah, if anyone hears Zara panting in the background, going up and down the stairs, nothing anything untoward. It's my dog. Now, so from that match then, now, the one moment that could have made it completely different was in the 119th minute, I believe. Nia made a fantastic save to deny Laura Freigang's header. If that had gone to penalties, Rosie, as we've seen a lot of them so far go to, who do you think? Do you think the USA still would have got it?
I think they would have. Yeah. I think there was just something in them that day. And you could just see it. They had that fight, and Germany kind of just. I mean, you could always tell they wanted to win it. Obviously, you're always going to want to win it.
Yeah.
But the US just had that something extra.
Yeah, and Emma agrees with you. The USA had real fight though, and Germany just didn't have it. Absolutely.
Berger and penalties. But yeah.
Just. Yeah, and Katrin Berger for penalties, though. I've never seen a goalkeeper so still and so calm and just so ready to just pounce. she's so, yeah, I think that would have been a force to be reckoned with. Absolutely. Sophie said, yeah, the USA are just so fast in every area. Truth's joining us. Hello. Julia Bryan can do everything but shoot. Yeah, wasn't her best match, was it?
Last game for Germany, she was shooting like amazing. I don't really know what happened. I just think they just kind of lost it.
Do you think it's still an element of like nerves, even at this stage?
Possibly. I don't really know. I mean, the US are one of the biggest teams in the world. They could have just lost like all of it. But it was, yeah, they were a lot better. It's not good enough.
Yeah, no, they absolutely were. And I think when it gets to this point, because obviously semi-finals are incredible to get to, but it is going to come down to those final moments. And unfortunately, Sophia Smith was that final moment, wasn't she? So yeah, fantastic. So USA do go through to the final, regardless of what Emma here said when she left Chelsea about she's got to beat the effing Spanish at some point. She's not going to get a chance because, of course, I mean, it feels a bit early to come straight onto Paul. However, I can't wait. I've got a beer in hand. I should have brought some popcorn. But essentially, Paul, this was the game that kind of everyone was talking about. It was absolute madness. Everyone expected, okay, we'll Spain 1-2-0 in the groups. They're probably going to do it again and probably be a bit tighter because we know Brazil have got that feisty side to them. However, talk us through what happened for people that missed it, because it really was the game of the weekend.
Sorry, I'm just enjoying the warmth of it. For people unfamiliar with this or who don't follow me on Twitter or whatever else, I am the only person on the planet who doesn't like the Spanish football team. Like, apparently. And there are reasons that I will go into. Mainly that it's really boring watching teams that good. And it's really good fun watching teams that arrogant getting absolutely smashed, which is what happened against Brazil. Because even, you knew it was going to be a bit different when in the first 5 minutes you had... Katakol, I apologise if I pronounce the name wrong because Vicky Sparks was pronouncing it Koi or something.
Katakoi, yeah, double L is like the sound. Yeah,
it is Katakoi, right? So,
I
wonder why the screen had gone. Yeah.
I love it.
So Katakoi
Entered upstairs.
Supposedly goalkeeping rock of the best team in the world. Smashing the ball into the rear end of supposed best defender in the world, Irene Paredes, was wonderful. And that was 1-0. But the thing I enjoyed most about that, and I'll talk more about it, the thing I enjoyed most about it, I don't know if any of you guys saw the celebration, like the reverse angle, where basically it showed Katakoi thump the ball straight up the backside of Irene Paredes. Paredes just kind of didn't react. Priscilla, who was the pressing Brazilian forward, who was a flipping force of nature all evening, kind of saw it go in, celebrated, and the camera panned to follow her, and she didn't half give Katakoi some on the way by. Like, you know,
did she?
like the full on. She kind of ran off to celebrate. I don't think she was trying to claim it, because I don't think even Brazilians are that desperate to claim goals that are very obviously not like that. But she did spin round as she went past Katakoi and shouted what I assume is the Portuguese for because there was real like venom in it. And you could see how Brazil were up for it. And then,
Oh yeah, from that first moment, you were like, oh, okay, this is the match. Yeah, absolutely.
And Spain just didn't respond. You know, Spain were kind of they tried to respond, and they tried to play their boring, suffocating anti-football, but Brazil found examples of how they played in the World Cup, because remember, in the World Cup, everyone was saying when Brazil were on it, it was glorious because they just played without a care in the world.
Yeah, that freedom, yeah.
And they found stretches of that. I mean, I don't know what they've been feeding Ludmila, but some of the passes she was hitting, just
phenomenal, yeah.
At left wing back was absolutely phenomenal. And as we know, I love a flying winger.
You do. You mentioned it
once or twice. I'll put trademark on that. You know, trademark on that phrase. And Ludmila was very much doing that. And the second goal, just before half time, wasn't even a surprise. It had been coming, and it was a lovely play down the left side, just fired across, side-footed into the bottom corner by, and it's really bad, Gabby, who I think was the right wing back. You never know with Brazil, because they don't believe in, you know, boring bourgeois anti-fun things like positions. They just kind of stick 11 people on the pitch and go and play.
Yeah, and go they.
And so that was the case. And then it was 3-0, and you just sat there going, Spain are getting absolutely smashed here.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful. Like it was, you know that bit in Escape to Victory when the French crowd start cheering for the prisoners and start singing the national anthem and all that sort of stuff. It was like a football version of that, because for me, supporting Spain is like watching Escape to Victory and rooting for the Nazis. It's like, just, you know, it defeats the point. You know, they're the big villains of everything. And so seeing Brazil absolutely destroy them, obviously Pele in Escape to Victory as well. And also, and again, this might be Barcelona fans and culés as well, but Spanish fans needed humbling, because they are the Arsenal fans of international football. Like, they just they just need to be reminded that actually they've had a couple of good years and a narrow win in the World Cup final that probably realistically on another 5 or 6 days wouldn't have happened. I agree, Nancy. I'm getting to the point.
It's like, come on.
And then you had Salva Parallelo pulled one back with a looping header, and you kind of sat there going, "Oh God, go away, Spain!" Like, you know, I think in our group chat there was something like, "Oh, piss off, Spain," or something.
Because the commentators were like, "Oh, the comeback's on," and you're like, "But there's still 2-0 down, and there's like 10 minutes to go, maybe." Like,
and this is another thing: listening to the commentators, desperate. Yes, I'm making that point now. I'm talking about the commentators. Listening to how annoyed the BBC commentators were clearly getting that they couldn't just, you know, sing the praises of Spain, and all of their narrative had gone out the window. You you know, when Samuel Parallelo scored, you could say, "Oh, the comeback's on!" Like desperation, and then fourth Brazilian goal, and it was just like that will do. And even then, the IOC, desperate that they are, you're not telling me 15 minutes worth of injury time wasn't a conspiracy theory.
I mean, so Rebecca Welsh was the ref, wasn't she? And
Yeah.
Oh,
I genuinely thought, I mean, there's Chloe's opinion on it.
Rosie agrees with me. And
To be
that's
fair, overall, and I'll come back to you, Chloe, because that's an opinion that needs to be shared. I don't overall, every ref has their moments. I don't think she's that bad. I think she's pretty good. However, I will say during that match, I was very surprised that there weren't more yellows. I know there's a couple, but I was very surprised there weren't more with some of the antics that were going on, especially with the Brazilian goalkeeper, which I don't know if it's one of your points, Paul, but we will we will get onto it. Chloe, so go on then. Opinion on Rebecca Welsh.
Well, yeah, I think Rosa can back me up on this, but as Chelsea fans, yeah, we're not the best fans of Rebecca Welch, really. I don't know, just when we've had our FR games, it's not gone so well. So,
Okay, so as soon as you saw that appointment, you were like, "Oh no, not doing it." But yeah, I mean, Emma's kind of on your side there. I saw her name and almost turned off, but overall did okay. Yeah. Now that 15 minutes, so wasn't it an extra 6 in the first half, and then there was another 15 at the end? Does that sound about right, Paul?
Yeah, it was definitely the 21 minutes
21
of
minutes.
injury time. You know, that's obscene. That's nearly a third of another game.
Because they all look shattered anyway. Like the space between game times is horrendous in tournaments like these, and they all look shattered, and they're all having to play all of these extra minutes. Do you think so, Paul? Do you think a lot of that was due to that time wasting and the going down and the injuries and things like that, or do you think it was genuine extra time?
I think it was the time wasting, and I think
Yeah.
It's hard because on the one hand, time wasting should actually absolutely be punished, but it still felt like 21 minutes of added, 15 minutes of added time. If there's 15 minutes worth of time wasting in a 45-minute half, and nobody's received a card for it or warning,
Yeah.
then I don't think that you can then justify putting 15 minutes on. And the reason for that is because, and Chloe might agree with me here, the reason for that is if refs are going to be tough on time wasting, they can't just say, well, we're just going to all let it on the end and suffer that way, because that still gives the license to time waste. And, and it doesn't change anything. If you turn around and say to someone, right, okay, there's been 5 minutes ish of time wasting so far in this half with half an hour gone, so 10-15% of the game of the time we've been on the pitch has been one team pissing around. Right, yellow card, bang.
Yeah,
There's
you're not getting away with it. Here's a card.
And if you keep going, you can choose, because if you keep going, the best that's going to happen is there's going to be a shitload of injury time. The worst that's going to happen is you'll be down to 10 men. Your choice. 10 players, excuse me. Just, that was extinctive. But that was probably from all the World Cup time wasting, because it was the World Cup where we first had this ridiculous addition, wasn't it?
And it all on. Yeah, absolutely. And wasn't it her name escapes me. The 17-year-old, the Brazilian 17-year-old. Is it Priscilla?
Was it Priscilla who I was singing the praises of? It was that. It may have been because Priscilla I was singing the praises of, because she was.
Oh, I think you said Ludmilla.
Ludmilla was the wing back. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah. Let's just double check that one.
Priscilla was just an absolute battering ram. A combination battering ram and shithouse in the way that she just kind of kept putting pressure on everything, and then after the first goal got into Katakoi's head with the kind of thing that isn't supposed to happen in women's football because they're all friendly and there's none of the gamesmanship or anything. But it was nice to see something like that.
Everyone's friends. Yeah, Priscilla, 19, and I think I'm right in saying it was her first senior start.
I've got to check that. It may have been.
And it came up because of injury. Puppy, hello. Okay, Rosie, introduce please.
This is Sid. And then Poppy is in her bed. She's not bothered.
Poppy is like me.
Again, I wish I had a dog that would come up and be interested, and he's just not. Tim's running downstairs. Spenny Fan Chris was all of us. Good evening, everyone. Dog. Thank you for joining us, Chris, and everyone else who has joined in the chat recently. We absolutely love it when you talk to each other, get involved. So please do keep that chat going. Now, got some stats for you for that match. Now, Paul, what do you think about the fact that Alexia Putellas did not start in the semi-final? Do you think that was a mistake by Monse Tomé?
It doesn't make sense. It's in that sense, and it was Mark Skinner syndrome. It's trying to be too clever and just failing.
Was anyone timing that? How many minutes was it until this is going to reference?
Oh, have we got a sweepstake going now?
I think we just should. It's like a normal thing every week.
23 minutes. There you go. 22 minutes.
3 minutes.
So if anyone had 23 minutes on their bingo card, but it is because he is the go-to, too clever for his own good manager, and I think it's fair to say that for all the talk of Emma Hayes rotating squads, for all the talk of Jonas Eidevall rotating squads, for all the talk of I'm trying to run through international manager Savina Wiegman not rotating squads, nobody would argue with any manager who looks at a team in an Olympic semi-final and says, "Do you know what? I'm going to put the current best player in the world on the field from the start, even if she's only about 90% fit." And
yeah,
it's there's a discussion over whether Alexia Putellas is overrated, which is an unpopular opinion, but there's
definitely people that fall on both sides of that argument.
There are people who fall on both sides of that argument, but like if you're trying to win a game like that, why would you not put every weapon at your disposal on the pitch?
I have no idea. She came on in the 77th minute. Okay, 77th. Not even, oh crap, we're 2-0 down at half time. Let's get Alexia on. And Sapphire will come back to your comment in a moment, but Sophie read my mind. I saw a stat. She had 3 goal involvements in the time she got subbed on. Yeah, she did. She was on from the 77th minute, as I've just said. She created the most chances of anyone in that game in that time. And it was 3. That was it. 3 was the highest. And she only got it in that time she was subbed on, which is absolute madness. Sapphire said, good evening, Sapphire. As a Barca fan, I have to say all of the Barca players except Diaz and Patry were awful. Hermoso looked like she had bricks for feet. Yeah, Jenny Hermoso, she didn't play like herself in that match at all. A lot of them, and again, is it tiredness? Is it the way they were set up? Is it because you'd expect that team at the levels that they've been at should be a lot sharper, a lot better, be able to compete and not get beaten 4-2. But they were shocking. Truth's just put in the chat there. Apparently it was a technical decision not to start her as well. I wouldn't like to be that technical analysis then, because that doesn't.
I mean, this is the thing. Do you think there's too much technical analysis and stuff in football now? I am a lover of stats and as much information as possible, and using it. But sometimes you just have to look at something and go, okay, and I'm probably contradicting myself, and I guarantee I'm going to be reminded of this when I make a statistical argument for not starting someone, unless you do so, and someone contradicts me. But
Don't know what you're talking about.
but is there not at some point, and this is perhaps something the manager should have done, where you turn around to your technical staff and you say, I take what you say, I accept all of that, I agree with it, but it's Alexia Putellas, we're effing starting her. You know.
Yeah. Or even let it play out as, you know, they've said, it's not working, I need to make a change, and I'm going to call that shot, and I'm going to do it. Because you need to. You can't just, as we've seen that Emma Hayes rightly does all the time, right, you're not playing well, off.
Yeah.
I'll replace you. If you're not doing your job, someone else is there waiting to go. Which
I think the USA, going back to the USA Germany game, I think the USA have already benefited from that.
Yeah.
Because
the fire they have got to perform when they're on the pitch is
because they probably know if it's anything like that famous Chelsea documentary that kept getting played all the time, there's probably been a meeting where Emma Hayes has basically said, this is the effing United States, and if you don't effing perform, you don't effing get picked.
I think can see that happening. Yeah.
You know, I think wasn't that a quote? It was. I might have added a few swear words, but I think that was basically what the point.
I think there were a few swear words in there.
Yeah. In fact, I think you underswore on that one.
But that was the kind of thing where you see the measure of someone like Emma Hayes, where it's like, no, I am the manager, and I decide what happens, and I don't care who you are. And and
it's
I do
performance rather than the name. Yeah, absolutely.
And I do wonder if Chelsea will suffer this season under Sonia Bonpasta. She will need to be that same type of manager, because even from Lyon, she stepped up in terms of the amount of star power and players who will be demanding to play.
Yeah, I've got to. I was going to ask you all later if you saw her exclusive that just came out. I think it was today or yesterday. I've got some quotes from that, so we can talk about kind of what she's going to bring to this Chelsea role. And yeah, it's going to be completely different. But has she still got that fire and that personality to come with it? Now, interesting what you were saying about stats, Paul, because on paper, Spain looked like they were having a really good game. They had 77% possession, right? 27 shots, only 10 were on target, 10 were blocked, and 7 were off target. So yeah, on paper, it looked like, yeah, all right, they're dominating, they're this, they're that. But actually, if you are a team where you don't hear the name Bonmati all the time, she wasn't in the game at all. She had some moments, and when she was, she couldn't do anything with it. And it was like, oh my God, Bonmati's not doing anything. But yeah, they kept everyone quiet, and it was brilliant. And lots of people, and again, I don't know if anyone's seen things online. We know how social media is. Lots of people are saying, well, don't blame. What was it? It was something along the lines of essentially Brazil didn't deserve to win. It was only because Spain were having a bad day and all of this. And it's like, Rosie, I can see your face. Like, what would you say back to them comments? The fact that Brazil weren't good enough to win, essentially.
I mean, have these people ever considered that the fact that Spain weren't having a good game is because Brazil are good?
Thank you.
Messi was being marked out of the game.
Yeah.
She was being absolutely, targeted, as she should be. Because when you play Spain, you look at those key players and you say, right, but Matty, we're going to get on her because she's dangerous. And you can't let players like that have the ball. And that's what they did.
Exactly. Like they looked at their tactics and they found Spain out and they won, and it worked, and it went really, really well. The next thing I was going to say was, now, Jenny Hermoso said some particular comments after the game. Did anyone get a chance to see what she said?
I've just seen Truth mention them as well in the chat.
Yes. Yes.
And
Would we like some quotes from
Yes.
Zed?
fire some
Okay.
quotes so I can rip them to shreds.
Wonderful. That's what I'm here for. I bring the quotes, you rip them for. Right. This is how it's written. Jennifer Hermoso highlighted Spain's poor performance, but scoffed at Brazilian football. Getting 4 goals scored against you by a team that, for me, doesn't play football. But in the end, what counts are the goals. I believe we made mistakes. We didn't play our game. I liked our second half, but it was tough with the 4-2 for the opponent. She then complained about Brazil's time-wasting tactics, saying the players took too much time on the field to prevent momentum and speed of play. And it turned out it was 18 extra minutes that Rebecca Welch ultimately added on. She then said she doesn't appreciate that kind of football. They said they studied us, they knew how to hurt us, play behind our back. For me, this isn't football. I don't like this kind of play. Obviously, they gain time, make you lose time, and for them, it worked. They are in the final, and we will go for the bronze. So, my question to you then, and to everyone who wants to comment back, do we think it was, because obviously we saw Vanessa Gilles the other day with Canada, very emotional response, and everyone was like, it was so heartfelt, it was so truthful, it was so, that's what they wanted to say. This was also very emotional and truthful. However, Paul, do you think he should have said that, or could she have said it a bit more tactically?
I think she is.
Will she regret it, essentially?
I think a Spanish person talking about anti-football is very funny, and it shows the arrogance of the Spanish. Well, not the arrogance of the Spanish as a people or anything, because obviously that's unfair to them. It shows the arrogance of the mentality of Spanish football and the people within it.
Yeah.
Possibly because they've spent the last 2 years having almost the entirety of world media crawl up their backsides, and somehow convince themselves that passing the ball sideways 37 times and then choking the life out of games by not letting other teams play is somehow the best football in the world. But I failed to see how she can accuse Brazil of not playing football when Brazil play with complete freedom and abandon. Like at the end of the day, and again, this I suppose depends how you feel about football as a whole, whether it's a regimented game of chess between 2 teams of 11 players who all have their own job to do, or whether it's a game of individual creativity and flair. And if you want, to me, anti-football is the boring, regimented 11 players do their job and choke the life out of games by keeping the ball 47 times.
Quite robotic almost, yeah.
Yeah, it's and I've had this discussion with people and they said, "Oh, are you against flowing passing football?" I'm like, no, I'm not. But flowing passing football actually moves the ball forward, and Spain don't. Like, it's all. It might as well be Subutio. It's run there, and I will put the ball there. Go and do this, and we will play these patterns 47 times. There's no individual flair. There's no joy in it.
Yeah, and Sophie's with you there. Brazil look chaotic but dangerous and effective. Yeah, and that's where the danger is, because you don't know what's going to happen next. You don't know where that ball's going to go. And all of those moments where, I don't know if anyone else watching it, there was one, was it for the 3rd goal or was it for the 4th, where it went off the crossbar first?
Yeah.
And then it was a rebound, and you were like, how did that not go in? And you were all rooting. I say it all, sorry, I'm generalizing everyone here. Everyone was rooting for them to be like, just get another one in. Just do it, because the flair and the skill and just the want to do it was there. So you wanted them to win and get that other one. Because it could have been 5-6, couldn't it? For Brazil.
Yeah, but Brazil, you watch and they make you gasp and they make you go, and they make your heart pound and the blood flow. Spain just make you occasionally go, oh well, that's very impressive.
like a,
Yeah.
Bob Matty will thread a through ball through that will get finished in boring fashion, slid into the bottom corner, and you'll just go, well, I can appreciate that pass, but there's no artistry in it. It's written by AI. There's no humanity in it. Basically.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I have to say, truth hit the nail on the head here. Bonmati's a hypocrite, though, complaining about time wasting when she herself was surely doing it in the second leg of the Champions League. Yes, exactly. The moment everyone knows what we're talking about, where she limped off the pitch and then ran to the sideline for her sub coming on to be like, yeah, go on, do it. Yeah.
Can I just say that comment appearing, just the formation nodding from Rosie and Chloe, just two Chelsea fans seeing that and just like
And eye rolling.
Reliving that, yeah.
Can we not remember that game, please?
There was
I keep bringing it up. Okay.
there was a point made in the chat as well.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember who made it, but back in the chat, that Spain, you can't win only playing against European teams, and that's all Spain do.
Yes, that was a good point. I did start, I believe. Yes, that was from Bruce. Thank you very much. Maybe playing on European teams doesn't prepare you for the international stage. Yeah, because obviously we've got Champions League, you've got the league themselves, but there's not many opportunities apart from Nations League now to actually compare yourself to other countries and to actually get those different styles of play and things like that. So, it probably, because a lot of those Brazilian players, they do play in Spain. So you'd think to some extent they would kind of know each other and be able to kind of suss each other out. But yeah, there was a massive void that I wasn't expecting, but I'm so glad was there because it's really showed what Brazil can do. And ultimately, going back to Paul, what you've got in your name tonight, were they doing it for Marta? Is my question.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Sometimes people like to question the motivation for storylines and stuff, because everyone's always looking for the storyline in women's football, and people were trying to manufacture narratives, and obviously we saw it with Chelsea last season where Emma Hayes used it beautifully to her and her team's benefit, this need for a narrative and this need for people to have hot takes and feed them. But I think this is similar to Arsenal with Freya Mornum. It's just, you can't deny that the circumstances are so obviously going to be motivational for them that you can't turn around and be cynical about it and say, oh, well, it's easy to say that, but they'd be playing like that anyway. It's like, no.
No, it was extra grit there. You could just tell, because for those who aren't aware, the Brazilian Federation actually put an appeal, didn't they, against Marta's match ban, and said, can we reduce it to 1? And she's already spent it, and then she'll be back for the semi-final. And obviously it was rejected because it was a violent challenge. But in a wonderful turn of events, she is back for the final, her last outing in a Brazil shirt, and it's going to be in the Olympic final. I mean, that's like poetry, isn't it? That's
I think she scores the winner. Like if there's
imagine
if betting companies are doing outcomes on certain things,
Nancy's like, yes, take my money. I'm putting a bet on.
Take my money.
Nancy, may I set up?
I'm sorry. Someone said, I didn't see who it was. Was it Simon or was it Graham who said Nancy saw the dogs and went, I'm not having that?
Graham, actually. Let's find it. Yeah, it was Graham. Nancy cleared all the dogs and was like, no, it's my show. Not having that.
She's now restless enough that she's jumping up and smacking my other half. So like, listen, if you have an opinion on football, if we can ever find a way to translate meows, we'll have you on. All right? Right.
How's going to win?
I would love that. And his special guest this week, Nancy.
I love how Jorge Oliver is like, feed the cat. It's like, oh, believe me, believe me,
feed the cat.
Believe me, Jorge Oliver. She has been fed. She gets slices of turkey and all sorts. She just likes to come on air and tell everybody that she's never been fed. She has a persecution complex. Again, she's like Arsenal fans in cat form.
Well, wow. This is where all the hate messages start coming in. I will say though, Laia Codina, she really didn't have a good game. So I really hope. Hope as in, for Arsenal fans. For everyone else, I probably hope she keeps that up. But yeah, a lot of names there. I mean, it looked like the defense was non-existent. And the one thing I did want to say was I would be fuming if I was Paredes and they kept saying it's a Paredes own goal. She had nothing. She had no control over that. She was trying to defend and she got the ball booted into her. So I did feel for her there. Now, the bronze medal match then is going to be Friday. So 2 days from now, it's going to be in Lyon and it's going to be Spain versus Germany. Now, I want to get some thoughts and predictions, just quick ones from everyone. Chloe, who do you think is going to get that bronze medal? Spain and Germany.
It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be, tiredness is probably going to come into it. But I can't not go with my birth country. I've got to go with Germany and AKB to pull out a great
Germany. I'm writing these down and I will post them. So,
Bird.
Chloe's going for Germany. Hey, this is part office here. You should see how many revision guides I've got behind me. Right. Chloe's going for Germany. Rosie, who are you going to go for?
Germany.
Oh, okay. Paul, I can kind of guess who you're going to go for, but we'll ask it anyway.
I think Spain will possibly have a backlash, but again, you've got a Spanish team who have just been humbled, but are bitching and complaining about anti-football against the German team who got beat by USA finding their form at the best possible time. And probably will now look at it and go, we'll show you anti-football. So,
bless you.
Yeah, auf geht's Deutschland. Come on, Germany.
Oh, Germany straight through. Yeah, in the chat, who do you think? Germany or Spain? Who is going to get that bronze medal? Paul, Sophie has said Nancy and her cat will have a Chatty Cat talk show. And there will be an audience for that somewhere. There will definitely be an audience.
Will they both be complaining about not being fed enough, even though they've got like 4 bowls and all that sort of thing?
The absolute cat podcast.
I had a joke then, and then went, yes, it's 9:15, but no, I'm not making that joke.
Yeah, it's not podcast after dark just yet. Give it a bit more time. Now, Sophie's also said Germany's lack of conviction in the final third stresses me out. The goals depends. I think Germany will do it because again, that's a real possibility, isn't it? That will then go to pens. Emily thinks Spain will come out victorious. Like I just put there, Emma says Germany as well. So it looks like Germany have got a clean sweep there. Fantastic. Okay. Now, next question then. The final, USA versus Brazil. So that's going to be on Saturday, okay, in Paris itself. So could there be an element of, oh, we're actually going to be in Paris with the rest of the Olympians and we're actually going to be not in Marseille, not in Lyon, not anywhere else. We're actually going to be in the centre, giving it a sense of occasion. So do we think I don't know. Who do you think is going to have that final edge? Because Paul, I know you said about Marta getting the winner. So Paul, we'll start with you. Who do you think, USA or Brazil, to get that gold medal?
I want Brazil for the narrative, and I think that because it's the Olympics and there is a special kind. We talk about magic of the World Cup, we talk about magic of the Euros. The magic of the Olympics is another level. We've seen that with like Andy Murray's run. We've seen that with some of the performances.
Yeah.
If fairy tales happen anywhere, they happen at the Olympics. And
oh, I like that. Right, that's going to go on a T-shirt somewhere. Yes.
And I think that the one thing that worries me from a Brazil winning perspective is, and again quoting Emma Hayes, they are up against the best defender in the world, bar none.
Exactly.
Like Naomi Gomez's play has been. She's made defending sexy by the way she plays. Just the joy of watching her time a tackle is. It just scratches an itch, like.
No, it does, her technicality, and to get that compliment from Emma as well, to be the best defender in the world, because obviously she's worked with some greats, of course. But yeah, I think so. I'm just reading through these comments. We've got a good mix here. So we've got, where should we start? Emma's gone Brazil straight through. Emily's saying the USA might do it 2-1. Sophie's saying, I think Brazil's chaotic enough to do the business, but I'm sure Emma will have been prepping more for a Spain final. Yeah, that could be interesting. I'm sure she would have had contingencies, but yeah, I think she might have been looking towards that Spain final first. Simon's USA. And yeah, Sophie's interested in the pace of both of the teams' matches as well. I can't wait, to be honest. So, Paul, did you have a definite answer there?
My definite answer is because I am a man who is far too old to believe in magic, but still does. I'm going to go with Brazil.
Never too old to believe in magic. We're going to go with Brazil. Chloe, we'll come to you.
Yeah,
Your head or your heart going to rule? What do you think?
Yeah. I've got to go along the same narrative, really. I know we've got the Emma Hayes sort of led USA in the first tournament, and we know what she can do. Pretty good at that, but is obviously still fairly early on in her sort of tenure. But then this Brazil run with Marta just reminds me of England in the Euros, in the home Euros, where it just seemed to be, fate that they were going to win it, and it feels like after all this time, something's sort of written in the stars, and Marta's going to get gold.
Okay.
Sunset. So
yeah,
go Brazil.
So you're going to go Brazil. And Rosie, coming to you then. Who do you think for the gold medal?
I said that Brazil would beat Spain. So I'm going to go with the same naivety or optimism and say that Brazil are going to win.
A bit both.
Hey, we'll call it optimism.
Yeah. And can I just say on Andy Murray, do you think if Marta doesn't win, she's going to tweet, I never even like football anyway?
I would bloody love that if she did.
I'm not saying that I am now on Google Translate seeing what that is in Portuguese, but I am on Google Translate seeing what that is in Portuguese.
Oh, I love that. That's brilliant. Now, just again, some stats. Brazil have appeared 8 times at the Olympics, winning silver in 2004 and 2008. So even if the worst comes to the worst and the USA do win, they're still leveling their best. Okay, they're still getting a silver. The USA, on the other hand, of course, have also appeared 8 times, and they've won gold 4 out of those 8. So who knows? Can they turn back to winning ways? Or can Brazil do it with a bit of magic? And we're going back to Judy Murray, if anyone remembers the quiz that we did quite a long time ago. Emma, just for you, I think she's going to turn up. If Andy had got to that final, I think Judy would have come on as a doubles partner. That I would have liked to see in the Olympics. That would have been phenomenal.
You know how the Chelsea fans were like, "Don't mention that game." Can we not mention the quiz either?
Is that because you still cry every time we say it?
You know,
No, yeah.
I don't know. Failing at quizzes, failing at opening escape room doors. I'm just having a nightmare. It's just the effect Rosie and Chloe have. Clearly, it's just like
that was a great moment.
I am England and those two are Spain. That's what it is.
You'll be really pleased to know then, Paul. I do have a quick quiz at the end of this today. But it's only 5 questions, so don't worry. So everyone in the chat, stick about. We do have a quick Olympic quiz at the end, so don't go anywhere. Now, thank you for your predictions. I'll get them out momentarily. Now, a lot of pre-season friendlies coming up. There is one going on at the moment. And the last one, let's get me banner. Hey, I made a banner. At the moment, there is a pre-season friendly between Bournemouth women and Portsmouth women, and Pompey are in the lead 3-2. They kicked off quite late. It was behind closed doors. I'm going to talk about some pre-season rules soon. So it was 3-2 at the latest standing. I am just checking. So 18 minutes ago, halftime had just started and it was 3-2. So 3-2. Pompey women are currently winning. Right then. Back to pre-season. So as I just said, lots of pre-seasons are starting. Now, a lot of fans have raised the question of, should pre-season be completely behind closed doors, or should fans be allowed to go and watch at least some of these matches? Now, for example, Everton, for example, have got 6 pre-season friendlies. 4 are behind closed doors and 2 are ticketed against other WSL clubs. Sunderland, on the other hand, are going to play 5 pre-season friendlies. All of them are behind closed doors. And then, of course, we've got Arsenal, Chelsea going out to America for a pre-season tour. London City Lionesses are currently in Murcia. United usually go to Spain as well. So, Chloe, I'm going to talk to you first about this then. Are you a fan of fans going to pre-season matches? Or would you rather they were behind closed doors so the teams can at least just focus on the football rather than any distractions? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a tough one. That having been through sort of pre-season before as a player, with behind closed doors, it does mean you can just focus on sort of tactics and what you're going to do and try things out for the season ahead. See what you're going to do for But I mean, it's nice to have fans coming along, just a bit more relaxed and sort of getting ready for having more fans in season. So it's, I don't know, really, I do like sort of the mixture of it, but maybe sort of start off behind closed doors, and then the closer you get to season, maybe have a couple that are open to fans.
Yeah, it's like maybe get into a rhythm, and then once you're happy, then maybe let the fans come in. Yeah. Chloe, do you think there's any negatives to fans? So if a club did all open to fans, for example, do you think there's any negatives to letting the fans in?
No, I don't think so.
Good. Nice and quick answer. Thank you very much. Rosie, same question to you then. Do you prefer a mix? How do you feel about these pre-season matches?
I think a mix is good, because the only bad thing about it is if you're trying out new tactics and you don't really want, I guess, your opponents to see. It's good to have it behind closed doors, but I also think it's good for the fans as well, because I mean, the first game I ever went to was a pre-season game, and it kind of just takes the pressure off a bit. If you're thinking, oh, I'm going to go see this team, but that's a really big game, there might be big crowds, which is a bit scary. You can just go to a pre-season one, and it's quite no pressure, just chill. And then you think, oh yeah, I want to support this team for the rest of the season. It's nice. But I do get the tactical side of it, but then that's why you need to have a balance. So yeah, once you've got into the swing of things, open it up.
Yeah, it's those two perspectives, isn't it? Because again, a lot of people are kind of, as soon as the preseason dates came out, it's like, oh, well, I want to go to see this team do that one, and then need to go here, and you get a good feel for all the teams, don't you, before it really starts the season. Paul, what do you think?
I am on. Amazingly, I'm actually balanced with this
What?
opinion. rather than having, I think that preseason games by definition aren't for fans. I don't think they are for teams, and I think you have the problem in the women's game as well, that a lot of teams use preseason, even the big teams, so championship, third tier certainly, but possibly WSL as well, will have trialists playing.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
And there's been several situations where certainly teams like Nottingham Forest, there's been pictures taken, and I know from being friends with one of the photographers who does a lot of teams in the Midlands in the lower tiers. Used to do Coventry United and now does like Boldmere and a bunch of the teams, that he, particularly in pre-season, is basically told don't take pictures because there are trialists and because there are new signings that haven't been announced. But
That's the thing as well. Yeah, if there's any new signings that are coming into the team,
I do think the best way around it, perhaps as a curtain raiser, is for teams to have a showpiece friendly, like the week before the start of the season. Like Chelsea are doing it with Feyenoord, for example.
yes,
You've got, and it gives fans the chance to see teams they won't play, because realistically, do you want to, if you're a fan of a WSL team, do you want to go and see a preseason friendly against another WSL team, or even against?
Well, that's the thing. You want something different, don't you? You want something like you don't usually get to see.
If they're playing, I could understand it more if Sunderland were playing, say, Roma, to pick a team, and said, right, we're playing this behind closed doors. They would get told, justifiably, don't be silly. And I think as well, by that point, you've got the excitement for the new season. You've got people ready. You've got the first chance to see new signings. It's like in the men's game, I have had very little interest in my team, Coventry City's friendlies, up until the point that they played Everton and Werder Bremen, because they're big games. I don't care if they're playing some German second division team and there's a bunch of young players. When they come to the CBS and they're bringing big Bundesliga teams, or they're playing Everton, that's the kind of thing where I'm like, yeah, I want to go and watch that. And maybe this is where you have a showpiece friendly at the big ground, possibly even with free tickets, and you say, right, okay, come along and see. This is your first chance to see all the new signings playing against a team who won't, you're not going to get the chance to see later on this season.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that would pull in bigger crowds, and then that makes pre-season friendlies an event. All these made up cups and tours to the US and whatever else, they can all sod off. Just just build up one massive pre-season friendly where your team is playing. Obviously, it's harder to spread that around, but it's certainly at the WSL level, it's very easy to say, Chelsea, for example, right, do you want to test yourself? We want to test ourselves against Wolfsburg, or we want to test ourselves against Lyon, or we want to test ourselves against Ajax, or we want to test ourselves against another club with name recognition.
Yeah, going back to that point of, if you just play in Europe, if you really got that experience of players that are, on bigger in different leagues and internationally. For example, coming back to that, Newcastle United women are hosting AC Milan at St James's Park. Talk about a statement match. All part of the Seller Cup, and who are their sponsors. And they're doing the same for the men's, I believe, as well. So again, we've talked before about impact of certain teams having certain money and where that kind of comes in, but having that as a statement and kind of, right, we're getting back to it. This is us in the championship. We're going to host AC Milan. And I mean, and compare it to Sunderland, just other side of the water, we're having 5 preseason friendlies and you can't come watch any of them. And it's just like, oh, okay. But that's kind of the price maybe that some clubs have to pay if there aren't these injections of money, if there's no one there backing them for these big showpieces, as Paul says. Now, Emily asked me something about Villa. Sorry, I'm just trying to find it. Yeah, if Villa have got any, I'd love to tell you that Villa's communication has got better each week. Hasn't. We've found out, I think, and Emma and Sophie can back me up. I'm sure we found out about our pre-season friendlies through other clubs who've announced it. And we've all kind of gone, oh, are we? Like, for example, Charlton. There is a friendly against Charlton. It's going to be at the Valley. It's going to be really good. That's 1st of September. Charlton posted it. And we're like, oh, guys, are we going? Are we getting tickets? Are we? Because tickets were just through Charlton. So we're all going 1st September. If anyone else is going, Graham, I think I'm seeing you there. And there's another one, I think, in the chat. Everton, again, Everton announced it. That's going to be one of the 2 that's open to fans. Emma said Villa are playing Liverpool as well. I don't know. I've lost track. But there's nothing. I've also seen quite a few people now tweeting their clubs to be like, can you tell us things, please? Because we're sick of having to find out from other people or from third parties. I'm sure as well, there was a tweet, and I think it's been deleted, right? And if anyone else saw it, you can back me up. Newcastle United, their goalkeeper coach has left, and there's still their departure announcement. On one of them, it said, has left to join Villa. Now, whether that's Villa women or Villa men, I'm assuming Villa women. But yeah, that's since been deleted and no more has been said. So honestly, social media is just a quagmire of awfulness. You just can't get anything there. So Villa have got a few. Whether they're ticketed or not, I do not know. But yeah, there's definitely 2, Everton and Charlton, that we can go to. Now, let's have a look. Is anyone going to any pre-season matches, by the way, just while I'm here? Yeah, Rosie, where are you going?
I'm going to Chelsea's at Kingsmeadow. I wish I was going to America. I do like the idea of the American tour because American fans don't really get to see WSL teams. Yeah. So I do like that they're doing that. I mean, part of me is saying, why would you go to America if you're just going to play Arsenal? You're going to do that.
Yeah. We do that literally all the time. Like, why?
I love seeing WSL teams against NWSL teams. I think it's so interesting because you never see that. So why are you playing Arsenal? But then again, I get it. It's going to draw fans in, and American fans are going to want to see those games, those rivalries.
Yeah.
You get it. But.
And again, it comes back to those statement matches, doesn't it? Of, these are things that are going to draw people in. And the fact that, the NWSL is so different tactically, and like all of these things that are going to be so different, it's going to be a really good test, I think. So annoying that they've got to travel so far. Bit annoying. Hope there's no injuries from that. But yeah, you just fingers crossed that it's still, because it's soon, isn't it, Rosie?
Yeah, it's like maybe next week. 20th?
Yeah, so hopefully there's kind of enough time between flying out, actually playing, getting back, and just really get ready for that pre-season. Yeah, absolutely. Chris is put in the chat, Spennymoor Town ladies put out their pre-season games for their 3 teams. First team, second team, reserves, and development. See, that's the communication we want from your club. Graham's also said, Rosie, of course you're going. You're in the squad. Like, you can't get away from it. No, I love it. You've got to be there. You're a statement signing indeed. And talking about statement signings, shall we talk about some transfers? Now, there's a couple of things. There was only a couple really to talk about this week, but there's just some updates and match announcements, thing like that we could talk about. But Paul, I'm going to come to you first. The transfer that you've been saying has been happening for weeks has finally been confirmed. India Page Riley has joined Crystal Palace. For those who maybe don't know about India Page Riley, Paul, take us through it. Why is she such a big moment for Palace?
I mean, just call me Fabrizio from now on. But anyway, it's a big moment because it's a statement signing from Palace in the sense that she is, because she plays for New Zealand, she's not perhaps, if you like, as hyped as European players, particularly young European players. But anyone who watched the World Cup and saw New Zealand at the World Cup would have caught glimpses of her. She was already playing, aged 20 at her home stage at her home World Cup, and being picked to play a pretty big role for New Zealand. And if you're being uncharitable, you're saying, yes, it's New Zealand, though. They haven't got a big pool. But we saw how good New Zealand were. And I like it. And I really like what Palace are doing, because they are making it very clear that this, they're not signing the kind of players where you look at and go, oh, this is an evolution. They're just trying to sign higher level championship players and the scraps from WSL squad players or young players on loan to try and finish 11th. They're showing
in the best
ambition.
possible sense. Yeah, they're not kind of collecting ones that aren't getting game time, things like that. They've made a real big effort to go, no contenders here.
They're not consolidating. They're not being safe in a good way.
Safe. Yeah, that way.
Because they're going for players and going, no, we want players who we think can make an impact in the WSL, not players who will turn up and do a solid job every week, but players who will turn up and make a name for themselves. And that's what India Page Riley will do. Because again, love a flying winger, trademark, and she is one. And she's young and she's hungry and she's talented. And don't forget, this is a team who very, very narrowly missed out on Frank Kirby on coming up from promotion. This is a team who are supposedly talking to Maren Mjelde still and very much deep in negotiations. This is a team who were close to signing a Dutch international striker, Ashley Weirden, from... trying to think, was it Ajax or Feyenoord possibly? I may be wrong. But, they're going for the kinds of names that will make people who watch the game go, really? Palace? A promoted team are signing players like that already?
Yeah.
And again, as we said last year, the players who they're keeping, like Elise Hughes is injured, but she'll return. Annabelle Blanchard finally has the chance to get noticed.
Yeah.
And prove she's better than Grace Clinton, which I think she is. You've got even goalkeepers, Shea Yanez recently, and Katrine Vide. They're signing players who are solid WSL players, not players who are on the edge of it. Players who you'll look at and go, yeah, these players can really do a job.
Yeah, they're going to really make an impact. Yeah, I was going to mention those because obviously with Bristol going down for Cheyenne as a goalkeeper, and just that opportunity to kind of prove yourself again with a different team, and especially one like Palace who have a lot to prove by being winners of the championship, and score. We don't want to do what Bristol did and just yo-yo up and go straight back down again. So yeah, so they're really making really smart moves. To be able to do it. Now, people in the chat, thank you very much for chatting, everyone, and getting involved. Emma's put Missy ball to Villa. Yeah, I don't know if we talked about this last week, but yeah, did anyone else expect Missy Kearns to sign for Villa? Because I certainly didn't. Lots of shaking heads. Yeah. Yes, exactly. It's It's a weird one. Because Rosie, I don't know about you, but I just thought she was Liverpool through and through. I didn't see her moving at all. So, what do you think she's going to gain by going to Villa? Just from kind of what you've seen, what you've observed from her.
I mean, I think she'll start and play consistently. That's what she wants. She wants to play for England.
Yeah.
But it was weird because normally you hear rumours. I didn't hear anything.
Heard nothing.
Who I've just found out, Soccer Donna is not a woman named Donna who just posts things. It's actually like a whole team of people.
You've not met Donna. You've not met Donna. She's cool. Donna is. She.
Donna's great.
Donna's great. Donna,
Yeah, Donna did not know about Missy Bo.
Her and her twin Kebab, like they get on with each other so well. Cheers.
Can we cut that one for the end of the season? Like just a montage of bad jokes. Just 47 jokes about Delphine Cascarino's number and that. Like,
yes, we absolutely can. And that will be our. It's not even a blooper reel because we're proud of it. Like proud moments from the show. This season.
We'll have three of them. We'll have your jokes.
Thank you for everyone. I really appreciate you coming.
We'll have your jokes.
That's fine.
We'll have Rose's reaction faces as well. Yes. Which, like, if we had like a women's football podcast, we just for certain transfers we could just have a Rosie reaction face. Like for Missy Bo Kearns, we could have had a surprised face. Just like.
And that time I was surprised by Nancy just meowing. I was like, what?
We will screenshot all of them and we'll just make them. We'll just all become memes by the end of this. That's what's going. Emma, I'd love to say that was brewing, but I'm just that wonderful. It just happened. It just happened. Or I'm hungry. One of the two. That could also be one of them. But yeah, I love the idea of Donna, and Emma was with you on that one. She had everyone on speed dial and she'd just ring them up every now and again and be like, any news? Any news on the grapevine? I'll just put a rumor out. Yeah, going back to Missy Bo, as we were talking about. Yeah, it was completely silent. And I absolutely love it when that happens. I'm sick of rumors like Daphne Van Domselaar, for example, that was rumored for years, it seemed like. So then when it happened, it was like, yeah, in our heads, she was already there. She was already gone. Like, it's just, it takes the magic out of it. But yeah.
You agree, don't you, Kat? Now, move.
Yeah, Nancy likes a surprise one as well. Paul, what do you think about Missy Bo at Villa? Is the move going to be worth it, do you think?
I mean, I was talking because my partner Kerry is, I've dragged her along getting into women's football, and she is very much enthusiastic and makes an effort to learn about it. And I knew that the Missy Bo Kearns transfer had made the thing. Sorry, Nancy just bit me. That's what that jump was. She just likes to nip, for attention. So that's what that was. But I knew the Missy Bo Kearns was a big transfer when I got a message from my partner going, so Missy Bo Kearns to Villa, tell me about it, because there's reaction. And I believe it's what they call cut through, perhaps.
Okay.
But it really surprised me because, like you say, firstly it came out of the blue, and secondly the way I responded to Gary and the way I would describe it to you guys as well. Missy Bo had the chance to be Liverpool women's Steven Gerrard, like local girl, born and bred red, already playing in the team, made captain at a young age, heartbeat of the team, and whenever I've been up to Liverpool and watched Liverpool play, because I've been up a few times, obviously with work and whatever else, you can feel the love from the Liverpool fans for her as well. It's not, it's that connection with local players, and so for her to go to Villa must have been a massive wrench, and it's amazing that she made that decision. But I think it says a lot about Villa, and I think it says a lot about Robert De Paul, that presumably there would have been an approach and to Liverpool, and we're interested in these players. Matt Beard comes back and goes, actually, we might be open to selling Missy Kearns, at which point I would hope Robert De Paul went, you what? Right, hold on, let's talk.
Let me get that Daphne money. Hang on.
Yeah.
Make you an offer.
Yeah, hold on a sec. But the fact that I would imagine there was then the conversation with Missy Bow saying, so, Missy, Villa are after you. Is it Missy or is it Missy Bow? How? Because she's one of those players with three names, and I never know whether to refer to her when I'm just first name as Missy or Missy Bow. What's
I've heard both. I'm not sure. If there's anyone in the chat who knows for certain if it's Missy or Missy Ball, or if she has a preference. But yeah, I've heard both. So I just kind of said Missy Ball to kind of err on the side of
We'll say Kearns then. Yeah, for someone like that to be asked, so Villa are in for you, and for her to look at it and go, yes, actually, this is better than paying for my childhood club who I've already captained. Says something about the pull, perhaps, of Villa. Two players like that who think that she can get into England notice.
Yeah. And have that moment and go, right, okay, this is my step up. I'm not getting her currently. Because she only made, I want to say, I can't remember how many starts, but it wasn't many for Liverpool, was it? And yeah, I think at Villa, definitely starting / giving them at least a good run for her money. But yeah, it was one that I just didn't see coming at all.
I will say about that transfer, and I've said this on Twitter, and surprisingly, I'm assuming it was all in the private quote tweets that I got.
That worked.
That was a Freudian slip, wasn't it, with Arsenal fans? Private quotes. Villa selling Daphne von Domselaar is some sort of Jedi mind trick, because they sold a player who didn't want to be there and wasn't really performing, made 100k profit, and got one of the best young English midfielders on the planet, and had money left over.
It sounds quite nice, really, doesn't it? It's like things are going well for a change. To be honest, it's quite nice, but it's good in a sense for Villa, because Villa were kind of seen as like the retirement home for a long time. And to get, no offense to anyone that we've got, by the way, but they're all at the other end of their careers, shall we say. And the average, there was, again, I'm sure I said this on the pod last season, between Villa and Arsenal, they both had the highest average age of a squad. And it's because Arsenal had a lot of players in their mid-20s, like really, in the prime of their careers, whereas Villa had a lot of players, great quality, but 30 plus. So it's gone, we're still a retirement home. Yeah, I know. But the fact that we've got those younger players coming through, like Katie Robinson, like Missy Kearns, and you're just saying, okay, Robert De Paul has a plan. And he's got this plan to make Villa seen as contenders, that they can be a place that, aren't just going to settle for 7th, 8th, 6th, that they are going to be, going for those, top 5 and keep pushing. So yeah, and giving players the chances that they deserve, really. So yeah, I'm really excited. I don't think I had an opinion initially because I still didn't believe it. And yeah, if we ever get time, Sophie's got a spreadsheet, right? She showed us it before, and it's literally of all the stats of all the players and the teams, and it's phenomenal. Yeah, and Emma's convinced we're winning the league next season. Can you imagine if Villa just come from nowhere and just completely smash everyone and everything?
You talk about a retirement home, but another thing that I didn't think of and have only just thought of. With what you were saying, Missy Kearns is going to be learning from Jordan Nobbs.
Yeah.
And, that I would imagine that might have been a pull from Liverpool as well. You know, if I'm Robert DePaul and I'm trying to sell it to Missy Kearns, I'm like, right, okay, you're going to start lots here. We consider you a key part of our plans. And by the way, you get to learn from one of the best English midfielders, certainly of the modern generation and possibly of all time, playing alongside you.
Yeah. And of course, you've got Lucy Staniforth as well. She'll be back from injury. You've got Lucy Parker, England international. So the actual caliber of the squad, I think, is underrated by a lot of people as well. So yeah, I'm excited. I don't want to get too excited, just in case, but I'm erring on the side of positivity for that one. But yeah, that was one I did not see coming. Bit weird seeing Lucy Bronze in a Chelsea shirt. Don't know how Chloe and Rosie feel about that now that the training pictures have come out.
I find it weird as well.
Yeah,
I'm prepared to get used to it. That's still weird.
I will get used to it. I will compromise. But yeah, it's just they released the videos today, didn't they? And I was like, oh, it doesn't. I mean, she looks happy. It's fine. But
complaining about the rain. Yeah, you've been in Spain. Welcome back to England.
Yeah, it's like you knew what you were signing up for. Like,
hold on, Lucy, you're from the northeast. Why are you complaining about the rain?
It could be worse. It could absolutely be worse. Chloe, Rosie, how do you feel about Chelsea signings? Are you feeling positive? Do you think you need anyone else? Or are you quite content? I mean, you've got about 40 players, but
yeah, I'd love a certain American centre back, but I don't know if we're going to get her yet.
Okay,
We shall see. We shall see.
Hold what?
I'm pretty happy.
The certain American centre back who the former Chelsea really? That American centre back, yeah, is that a thing?
Well, I made it a thing.
That's just that just wouldn't be fair. Millie Bright and Naomi Germer.
Every single
centre back partnership.
I think it's become a little like inside joke. Everyone just keeps tweeting about Naomi Germer in a Chelsea shirt.
Well, you know, have you heard anything at training, Rosie? You know, have you heard any rumours of new arrivals you can tell us about?
But,
just gossip in the changing rooms between players, like anything.
It's just one of those things that I think is inevitable. Whether it's this season or whenever it is, I think it's inevitable. Same as Sophia Smith.
We are inevitable.
Yeah, we're inevitable.
Okay, so you're going for Sophia Smith as well. All right, okay.
I want both of them, but Naomi Germer first because we've got so many attackers. And then when some of them drop off, we're like, okay, Sophie, come in. There's
okay, so you've got like a 5-year plan.
Yeah.
I love it. It's great.
You don't want everything at once because that's a bit like, you know.
Well, exactly.
We have a lot of players, I'm not going to lie.
Have you just decided she's the heiress to Sam Kerr? Is that like give it a couple of years, and just as Sam Kerr starts to hit the tail end of her career, yeah, tar Sam, but Sophia's waiting now.
I like it. I like that you've thought of all that. I love it.
Well, you can actually see seamless link to something else that I wanted to talk about. You can actually play this stuff out now, at least in virtual form.
You can, yes. Because Paul, what are we talking about?
Because it has been announced. Has it been announced? Was it today? It was announced that EA.
Oh yeah.
I still call it FIFA, but it's EAFC now, isn't it?
EAFC, yeah. A lot of vowels for a northeast around.
Yeah.
It's not the best.
I just call it FIFA because I'm a stubborn sod. I mean, I still call my team's home ground by the sponsor that it was 10 years ago. So you know, we're Coventryans. That's what we do. But basically, it was announced today that finally now, on EAFC, you can now play career modes and management modes and integrated seasons with women's teams in the same way that you can with the men's team. So Rosie's already there firing it up just straight into like transfers and using them. But I don't think people understand how big a thing this is. And I don't think people will understand how big a thing this is because as a football gamer myself, I like playing EAFC and FIFA, and I've played it for far too many years. But the fact that one of the most fun bits is the career mode, where you can manage your team and take it. Obviously, yeah, Sapphire's right. Football Manager 25 is actually going to have women's football. Will you shush?
She's so excited. She can't.
She is excited. There's just going to be a remix of all Nancy's appearances. Or she's just bit me. So there we go. She's had enough. But yeah, like the fact that games like Football Manager and EAFC are now making it possible for gamers to play and control with women's teams on the same level as the men's teams. Yes, you'll have the backlash of you people complaining about it, how it takes up too much time and they'd rather fancier 3D graphics or something, and they're never going to manage the women's team. But imagine if you're an 11, 12-year-old girl who likes football but has only buys FIFA, or indeed an 11 or 12-year-old boy. You love football, and you sat there, and you've gone to watch Chelsea women or whatever, and now you get to play as Emma Hayes, basically, and you get to manage them and play fantasy football. You get to go beyond just playing seasons and friendlies and actually say, well, what would happen if Sophia Smith came to Chelsea and whatever else? Thank you, Nancy.
When, not if.
When.
It's when. Heard it here first, guys. First, it's going to be
straight from the Chelsea changing room.
My free time's going to be taken up.
Oh yeah, we're not going to have lives anymore. No. We'll be doing the pod with the game on the side and just kind of casually glance now and again to how it is. But isn't it wonderful the fact that it's going to be normal in a couple of years? It's going to be the norm to have women's football there, and it's going to be phenomenal. And I cannot wait. So thank you to EA for actually, catching up with everyone who's wanted it for a very long time. But yeah, we'll all get a copy. If they do want to send us any free promotional ones, we are available.
Mine's a PS4, EA, if you're watching.
Yeah, mine's PS5. Yeah, everyone name your gaming station and we'll see what we can do. Right, next thing I want to talk about. Blackburn Rovers have woken up. They've signed 4 new players and also announced they've retained another 4. And they've got a new head of women's football. So fingers crossed, their negativity with wages and things like that, maybe that's, I don't want to say behind them because I don't want to feel like we've forgotten about it, but hopefully there's enough in place moving forward that players have gone, okay, this is a viable outcome. So good. So Blackburn have woken up. Still a couple of teams that I've heard nothing from, just getting a bit worrying. However, Manchester United are at the centre of a couple of rumours, as always. So rumour has it, Adele told me earlier, that Liza Kopp from Leicester, they're targeting her to join their goalkeeping union. However, how do we feel? Any thoughts? Is it realistic? Because ultimately, I thought Fallon Tullis-Joyce would be number 1. Chloe, any thoughts on this one?
Honestly, I thought Fallon Tullis-Joyce was going to be number 1. I mean, it made sense that she was going to, marry up as she progresses. So I don't get it.
No.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Because she's she stepped up for Leicester back end of the season, very, very good. And obviously plays for the Dutch national team as well. So we know she's got the quality. And a team like United, well, a team at any point in the WSL, we saw what happened to Villa's goalkeepers last season. You do need a good 3 at least to kind of make sure they can step in. In Chelsea's case, a lot of rotation going on. You just need the right players for the situation. Rosie, what do you think? Who would be your number 1 choice, or is there anyone else that you'd try and go for? What would you think?
I'm kind of guessing Saf will go on loan
Mm.
because as much as you want 3 keepers, there's not much appeal in staying when you know you're not going to get minutes. So I think it's best for her if she just goes and gets some time. I'm guessing Callum will be number 1, but then they have to have someone else to bring in to be the reserve. And that
Yeah.
could be yeah. But I
Yeah.
just, if I were a player,
As a player.
I probably wouldn't move to Man United because they don't have that much appeal at the moment. And I think you can kind of tell with what Mary Apps has said and with what players from the club, the Porter cabin thing, they just kind of treat women as the second class there. And it's all about the men's team, and then the women are there as well. So I kind of think in terms of young players, especially, there's just not much appeal there. And if I were Leicester, I might just say, hey, think about this for a sec.
Yeah, and be like, no, thank you, stay here. Paul, what do you think about this one? Would it be a good move for Kopp, or should she stay where she is?
I think after seeing Fallon Tullis-Joyce's treatment, she should run like hell. And
Run like the wind, Bullseye. Yeah.
Nice. that was a pop culture reference. That was. I think that she's a very good goalie. She may have tough competition with Janina Leipzig in Leicester, but at least she's got a manager who's willing to rotate goalies.
Yeah.
At least she's got a manager who has respect for the idea of rotating players and won't spend £150,000 on a goalkeeper and then not play them at all. Even when there's a legit argument to play said goalie.
Yeah.
And I don't get how Man United are signing these players. I think whoever's selling them must be able to sell ice to Eskimos, because there's, with all the stuff you read and with all the stuff that is coming out of the club, like Tom Gary saying, women's football agents are saying it's a shit show, and you're seeing a club that clearly don't care as much about it. Why would you want to move there? It seems a backward step almost to move from.
Yeah, it just feels like with everything that's come out, there's got to be, the only thing that can still be attracting players is the money. Because if you know how players don't get rotated, if you know how players have what they've said after they've left, like Rosie said, and you just think it's just got to be the name. Even the fact that they're announcing all these signings, there's no pictures, there's no interviews, there's no media, there's no nothing. They're all AI generated brick houses. And it's like all of the spray paint that's done by AI, and you're like, how lazy can you get? Like, I know I say about Villa and their social media team, but we've got pictures and we've got interviews. Like, we'll get that one, every month or something, but at least they're there. But yeah, if I was a United fan, I don't know if we've got any United fans in the chat, but I'd be fuming just with what is going on, or the lack of things that are going on.
Well, they're all optimistic. If you look at United fans' social media, there's a level of delusion almost with some of them now, because they've seen Dominic Janssen sign, they've seen Turland sign, there's Simia Wusho, the Canadian who is supposedly signing.
So that was going to be my next point. Fuming if she goes. She's not going to get. We'll talk about it now. If she goes, she is not going to get a start. She's not going to get any rotation. There's no place for her in that squad. She's probably going to go straight on loan. I'm going to call it now. If she does sign. I mean, Villa are happy to have her, although I think we've got too many midfielders now. But yeah, I think players like that, of that international equality and that level, I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about United at the moment. But you're right, Paul. All the fans are saying, well, we're still attracting players regardless, so something must be right. So I don't know what they're telling them, or if it is just that money. Yeah, we need defenders. Emma, get on the case. Let's get some defenders. Rosie, if you've got any contacts, just
I'll let them know.
anyone that's not playing at Chelsea, just shove them. Where was it, Paul? Was it up the M40? They were trying to tell people that Birmingham was.
Yeah, because they don't know geography.
But yeah, so Arujo may be waiting on visa approval. So by the sounds of it, it looks like it's already been done. So I'm quite sad about that one. So yeah, so I really hope Fallon does get to be number one, and they don't just kind of ship someone else in and again put a second. But yeah, I really hope she does go up to number one. We've talked about Arujo.
Did we mention Anna Sandberg as well? Was that last week? Was that this week?
Oh, good point. I don't know if we've talked about it. Yeah, they've signed Sandberg as well, haven't they? So let's check. Paul, do you know much about her?
About Anna Sandberg?
Yeah.
She is, again, a player who you look at and go, why would you go to Man United? Like, not because of the size of the club or anything like that, just because you're a young player who wants to play, and you've seen how particularly non-English players who have joined Man United have been cheated.
Yeah.
And you go, it's why, because she's broken into the Swedish team.
Yeah. And she's coming from Häcken as well. She's coming from a Champions League team. Yeah, she's a fullback. Can't speak now. Record transfer fee for a Swedish player with Anna Sandberg. Apparently, she said, again, just as a quote, because we haven't got any pictures, I'm very happy and grateful to sign for this big club. I hope I can help our team with my qualities and deliver many winning moments for our fantastic fans. So again, it's that wording of for this big club. So I really think it's the name at this point that's getting them these signings. Well, thank you very much, Sean. I've just saw that at the corner of my eye. Hi, Team Chaos. I've come up from Twitch. Love the content. Thanks, Sean. Keep coming back. We're here every Wednesday. Thank you very much. So yeah, Sophie said there, she won't go on loan. Mark's going to like to give them a year before making that decision. Yeah, they get a nice cushion on the bench, and then they stay there forever and ever.
Well, on present form, Simi Arujo is going to move to Villa in a year.
Well, that's the thing, because Kirsty Hansen, Adriana Leon, just keep them coming. Anyone else? We'll love you and give you a home.
And United of Aston Villa's feeder club.
We've got Arsenal and United. There are feeder clubs, and thank you very much. We will take them and appreciate them. Another interesting one, just moving away from United finally. Megan Connolly left Bristol City. That was announced. Of course, previous captain of Bristol City. It's come out today. It's rumoured that she's going to be signing with newly promoted Lazio in Serie A. So she's going over to Italy. And we've said it for weeks, haven't we? That actually Serie A next season is going to be really, really interesting because they've managed to attract a lot of big names.
Oh, Camilla's going to have you, Freya. Lazio.
What?
Camilla's going to have you for that one. I'm assuming it's the team in Rome, right?
Yeah.
Lazio.
Oh crap! Yeah, sorry. Sorry, Camilla.
You have my back for Missy Bow. Well, in fact, Rosie did, because Rosie gently went, "Thank you, Mimi, for letting us know who Missy Bow was." We saw that one.
Yeah, said, by the way, it's Missy Bow.
But we all had each other's back for Missy Bow, so I've got your back for Lazio. There you go.
Thank you.
Make sure it's all right.
In fact, we're going to text now. I'm sorry, I've mispronounced.
Damage control. Please come back on. I'll make sure I pronounce Lazio properly.
We still be friends. And that's when I'll get a no. We cannot see. We're not invited to anything else in Italy. Lazio, of course it is. Of course it's Lazio. You know when you just read something and you just read it as it is. That's my excuse. Anyway, just completely missed that. So thank you, Paul. Thank you for having my back on.
You should have heard my first attempt at cat your snush. Is all I'm saying. I can't hold my hand up. I think I kind of went sneeze or something.
Like a sneeze, just sneeze. But yeah, no. Oh, every time I look at it now, I'm like, Lazio. Yep, I can do it. I can do it now.
I used to think. Do you remember Gazzetta Football Italia? Are you all? Are you going, Rosie? You're definitely not old enough to remember Gazzetta Football Italia. I've shown my age here. It's on Channel 4 in the late 90s, but the theme is iconic to people of a certain age. Maybe people my age in the chat will remember. And they used to have like a bit of commentary that actually was the word, obviously, golazzo, which is, fantastic goal or whatever. I thought for some reason, why is the commentary at the end a goal for Lazio? Why are Lazio so special? Why have they put
Go Lazio?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Camilla's just put, well, lots of laughing faces, and then do I want to catch up? Do I need to? No, you don't. No, it's okay.
See, Graham knows. There you go. I knew I liked you, Graham. even though I've criticised Charlton occasionally, I knew I liked you. There you go. I'm feeling less old now.
Yeah, Sean's put, just waiting for the reply of denied. Yeah. Friendship card handed back. No, I'm just texting. Right, okay. So then the next thing we were going to talk about, just really quickly. So Emma Sanders, the lovely Emma Sanders on Twitter. Now she tweeted a couple of things about where the biggest stadium match is going to be for each team. And there was a bit of I always say it wrong every time I talk about. There were some disagreements, let's say that, between fans of varying clubs about who Liverpool have chosen to play at Anfield. Have we seen this little bit of discourse?
We have. See, Rose, I don't know whether Rose is laughing because she finds it funny or because she's just seen me do the old.
Let's get ready. Yeah, so essentially, for those who aren't aware, Liverpool are going to be playing Anfield for 3 matches next season, and they have chosen Man City, Man United, and Everton. But people are quite annoyed, Rosie's got the popcorn back, that either an Arsenal and or a Chelsea were not involved in that decision. Personally, I think they've done the right thing. Geographically, they're big matches. They mean a lot to those people, and they're going to get the crowds in. They haven't just plucked them out of thin air. Paul, what do you reckon? Is that a good 3 to have at Anfield, or what do you think?
It's the only 3 to have at Anfield, in my opinion. No disrespect to Chelsea, obviously, because Liverpool versus Chelsea is still going to be a huge game at Anfield. And if there was only one Manchester club in the WSL, I think Chelsea would absolutely be picked. But the thing that has annoyed me is the fact that the conversation, again, comes from a certain fan base who are genuinely annoyed that they're not being given the, in inverted commas, privilege of playing at a big stadium because they take loads of fans away. And, we bring in loads of money. Firstly, no, you don't. You might take 5,000 people, but you've got one song between you. And secondly, the arrogance to look at a club that isn't yours hosting one of the biggest games in Europe and one of the most historic derbies in the world. Certainly the women's version of one of the most historic derbies in the world at their main stadium, and go, no, we should go there because we won loads of trophies up to 2019 and we're a big club, is just like, what Liverpool fan is going to say, yeah, we'll have Arsenal over the Merseyside derby?
Yeah, it doesn't work, does it? Yeah, Simon's with us. Yeah, they've chosen the right games. Like Everton, obviously, United, City, also local rivals, local derbies. And it just, yeah, for Arsenal, I can play devil's advocate. I can see what Arsenal are saying in a sense, because they do bring the crowds. I do get that. However, I also saw a few people being like, yeah, but bringing those big crowds at Walton Hall Park for Everton, and then for the new St Helens Stadium, of course, for Liverpool, having them there is going to be it's going to make that atmosphere feel so much better. So they're still going to get a good match. It's not as if it's going to be rubbish because it's not at Anfield. It's just it won't mean as much. And yeah, it was just a bit bizarre because compared to United, I don't know if you saw their Old Trafford matches. United are facing. Hang on. Man City, obviously, at Old Trafford. West Ham and Crystal Palace at Old Trafford, which I thought was an interesting three. Anyone else?
Back to Old Trafford. The band.
So you two discuss. Camilla's just sent me a voice note of how I should pronounce that club. So keep talking.
I was going to say, you're going to play it so we can all be educated by an actual Italian.
I was seeing if I was right, first of all. No, so I'd phonetically typed it out like, I said like Lazio. And she's like, no, that should be right. And I was like, hang on. No, it was a mix of both of us, Paul.
Lazio.
There you go. Lazio.
Yeah.
But I don't get how, and this is, we've got unpopular. Actually, I'm saving this because we've got unpopular opinions still to come up. So I won't. I'll save this round for unpopular opinions and stop ranting. But like, I don't get, because like there is a great trend of having derbies at the big stadiums, like the South Coast derby, Portsmouth versus Southampton. Both of them have said big stadiums. I mean, Southampton play at St Mary's anyway, but the fact that both teams have said, no, even if we have to move away for whatever reason, those games are guaranteed to be at Fratton Park and St Mary's. The North East derbies have both said, and brilliantly, the fixture computer has put the Tyne and Wear derby, both of them, on an international break.
Even better. Get the crowds in. Absolutely. Yeah, no, and it's great to see all of these clubs embracing the matches that mean the most at these bigger clubs. So like you said, so we've got Fratton Park and St Mary's for the South Coast Derby in the Championship. Sunderland and Newcastle are at the Stadium Light and St James's Park, respectively. Sunderland are also going to host Durham as well, so another local derby, and Birmingham City, which I think is a really good one, because again, title contenders. And also Sheffield United going to host those as well. So yeah, I think it's going to be a season where we start to see this change and start to kind of expect. No, how should I say that? We start to see the changes that hopefully will become the norm in a couple of seasons, starting from this next one. Right, so where are we time-wise? Right, okay, we'll do this last bit quite quickly then. So Women's National League starts in just over 2 weeks, everyone. 18th of August, get it in your diaries. Have a look at your local Women's National League team and go along and support them if you are missing your women's football. My local derby, Lincoln City and Lincoln United, I think is going to be a very good one, and I can't wait to get to that one. Now, we did say we were going to do some unpopular opinions, and I asked everyone to have a little think. Just quickly before I forget, Sophie, yes, I believe they're all at Bramall Lane. unless they've changed. But I'm 99% sure that they're all still at Bramall Lane. Yeah, good. Okay, so unpopular footballing opinions. Again, if anyone's got any in the chat and they want to pop them in, so an opinion you have that is unpopular that will see hordes of Twitter masses kind of descend on you if you were to tweet it. So, Rosie, did you have a think about an unpopular opinion you've got?
I'm panicking now because I didn't have a think. I haven't done my homework.
Would you like us to go to Paul?
Go on to Paul and then come back to me.
Okay, right. Paul, I know you had a couple. Choose your best one.
I mean, Rosie can borrow about 10 of mine.
Just in the private chat, just like, have this one. Take it.
I will go with the worst thing, or one of the worst things that has happened to women's football is the fact that certain fan bases are incredibly entitled incredibly quickly. And that entitlement is often only fed by the media coverage of those certain clubs. For probably for the media benefit with eyeballs and stuff like that. And I speak specifically about one club because I used to think it was a couple, but I think more and more it was interesting seeing towards the running last season and seeing the coverage of Chelsea almost twist to, well, actually, we don't want Chelsea to win because that's boring. And
yeah, and it's social media is a weird place, isn't it? Because people really want you to. There's one side of it where it's like everyone's welcome, everyone can have an opinion. Let's talk to each other. Let's have this conversation. And then you say something about like, oh, they didn't perform well, and then suddenly it's well, I thought you were a fan of, you know, whichever team it is, and it's like, hang on, I can be a fan of a team, but I can be critical. Like, I'm not going out of my way to be horrible and whatever. And it's is this entitlement kind of, is it plastering off the cracks, essentially? Is it looking through rose-tinted glasses and not accepting that criticism, which a lot of it, unfortunately is, isn't it? And it's that not being able to see what other people may go, yeah, but actually your defense was a bit shocking and that kind of thing. Yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just the fact that women's football has very quickly gone from, or in some areas has almost forgotten where it came from very quickly. And it now likes to pretend it's all welcoming and friendly and whatever else, but it's very gatekeepery and it's very vicious, and it is often the fan bases that are held up as like paragons of virtue that are the ones that are doing it the most. Yeah,
and it's almost as if anyone else isn't allowed an opinion because of how loud these clubs go. Yeah, no, I agree. It's meant to be unpopular, Paul, with that one. Sapphire's got a good one. I like the new Champions League format. Sapphire, you win. You win. That's it. That's good. Yeah, there's been a couple of.
I've got one. Sorry.
Oh, you've got one. Wonderful. Yeah. If anyone doesn't, we won't go into it now. It's something for another pod. But yeah, the new Champions League format has a lot of rounds and a lot of stages and a lot of round robins and a lot of ifs and buts and what turns up. So that's something for another day.
Do you reckon Sapphire likes pineapple on pizza as well?
I don't. Sapphire, do you like pineapple? Yeah, it's that's a good one. Rosie, have you got a good one?
Right. There you go. I'm very glad that Team GB did not qualify for the Olympics.
Oh, you get absolutely crucified for that online.
That's not good, right?
I agree. Yeah, I agree. You look at how shattered those players are in the Olympics, and you just think, I read the Barca players are getting 10 days off after this before they go back into pre-season. 10.
That's nothing.
Because the English girls haven't had a break for years, probably since COVID,
Yeah.
right? And
Since
then
COVID, yeah.
I was gutted when we didn't qualify, but now that you look at the tournament, you think that the turnover is just crazy, and they're playing 120 minutes. And with the British girls, they probably play 120 minutes because they can't finish. But I'm so glad that the Chelsea girls are back in pre-season. They're training already. They've had a really good rest, and now they can just get back to it. And it's just you dread to think how many injuries could have happened. And it's
I'm surprised there hasn't been more injuries, to be fair, at the Olympics. Very surprised there hasn't been more.
Player on your team getting a serious injury, it's not worth going,
No, not at all. And you're absolutely right. Like all the players, they always talk about actually having a proper pre-season and how most of the international break actually takes that away. And yeah, all you want is your players fighting fit, because ultimately with their club team, that's kind of their main bit, isn't it? Their main job, their club. And yes, they all got to have a lovely summer in Ibiza. It's either Ibiza or Greece. There's not really anything in between, is there? It's either one or the other. But yeah, I love that Sophie's put the south of Ghana. I think that's autocorrected from France. So Sophie's actually been out there at the Olympics, and just the heat, like it has been so humid, it's been unbearable. So yeah, I don't envy them at all with that one. Would you like to hear mine?
Far away.
I think Misa Rodriguez should be Spanish number 1 over Catacoy.
Go on.
Oh, here come the coolers.
I'll prove it. Right, so got some stats, right? So Cata obviously plays for Barcelona, and we know Barcelona dominate. She doesn't really have much to do. Okay, so of course she was injured for the first part of the season. Sandra Panos stepped in. Bloody love Sandra Panos. And always felt very settled with Panos in goal. Catacoy, it's a bit like, again, just going back to Villa, when Hannah Hampton was in goal, you felt secure, you felt safe, you felt sorted. Anyone else, you're like, it's a bit touchy. So, got some stats. And this just kind of puts it into perspective what Barcelona is like and how they dominate in Liga F. According to FIBREF, which is what I call everyone else as well, in the 23-24 season, against Catacoy, there was only 17 shots on target in the whole season that she played. Okay. And that was 15 matches, I believe. Okay. So 17 shots at her. She saved 14 of them. Okay. So fair play. That's a good save percentage. I think it came out at about 88%. Right. And a clean sheet percentage of about 80%. Now, on paper, that looks phenomenal. But then you look at the actual context of the league and the club and everything that goes with it. Misa, on the other hand, okay, plays for Real Madrid. Okay. She played an extra 1,000 minutes than Cata did last season, which says it in itself. She had 86 shots on target against her, and she saved 58 of them. Okay. So on paper, again, those stats, that save percentage isn't as good. However, I personally believe she is much more used to being in those high pressure attacking play situations. And I think in that Brazilian game where it was that chaotic and that powerful, I think she would have done a lot better than Cata, because Misa is more used to that attacking play than Cata is. So I personally would always go Misa over Cata. And that's me. That's my unpopular opinion. But yeah. I just every time I saw her in goal, I'm like, just Misa, just put Misa as number 1 for that one.
Sophie's goalie one makes me go,
Yeah, Sophie in the chat. My unpopular opinion, Hannah Hampton unnerved me in goal sometimes. Oh, see, I never felt that. So I'm really, really intrigued as to why. Because I always felt the only time she unnerved us, and I don't know if this is what you're talking about, Sophie, was when she maybe a little miss kick, or maybe she just mistimed it, or she left it a bit too late to clear it. But on the whole, I always felt quite safe. Rose, how do you feel with Hannah Hampton in goal?
I feel very confident with Hannah in goal, and I think she should be England's number one. But the only difference for me that that would make possibly Mary Earps come out on top is Mary Earps knows how to organise her defence, and
yeah,
I see her yelling at everyone. And I think Hannah Hampton lacks that bit of confidence sometimes. And you see it more so for England than you do with Chelsea. With Chelsea, she's a bit more comfortable with shouting at everyone. But I do think for her to become England's number one, that's the one element of her game she needs to have. Because you see, defenders crowding her in the box and they just get out. Just tell them to get away, because as a goalkeeper, you need to be able to see everything that's around you, and you can't do that if you've got a million people in front of you. And you just need to have that confidence to kind of like push them out and you tell them to F off. And that's what Mary Earps has over Hannah. So that's the only thing that does unnerve me.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree. And I think, again, that's going to come with time and that confidence, isn't it? To just be like, right, I'm in charge. Don't care what any of you think. Out. See you later. Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, I did want to do a quick shout out of the week. Did we see AC Milan have introduced new maternity policy? Yes. So yeah, this new maternity policy then is for players and staff, and it formally protects certain rights during pregnancy and early childhood. And it's at the top of FIFA's new regulations, and they're the first club to guarantee automatic contract renewals during pregnancy. So no players have to worry about a contract ending and not getting another club because they're either pregnant or they've had a baby. Okay, so shout out to you, AC Milan, for being so forward thinking and so proactive. Because again, when we've had Camilla on the pod before, and she said, Italian football is so far behind the rest of Europe, this can be a positive for hopefully leading the way in the future. Now, last thing. Would you like a quick 4-question little Olympics quiz to finish off?
Oh God, I'm losing.
The correct answer was yes. We can't wait. Right, everyone in the chat as well. Remember, don't put your answers in the chat until the end because we don't want anyone cheating. Emma, looking at you, and so keep them in your head or write them down on a bit of paper, and then we'll confer at the end. Right, okay.
Not my phone. I'm not cheating.
I'll believe you. It's okay. Many wouldn't, but I'll do.
Okay. If I type them in the private chat, is that cheating? If I chat them in the little kind of group chat that we have, the admin chat.
Why don't you just type them in the box but not press send?
Okay, that works.
There you go.
There we go. I'll do that. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. Question 1. There are 2 points up for grabs for this one. When was the first time women's football took place at the Olympic Games? And you get a point for the year and the point for the location. So the first time women's football was introduced at the Olympic Games, Summer Olympic Games, I will say. And let me know when you are ready.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, look at the thinking.
I love how intensely. Sam, I'm just going to delete your comments. I did say no answers in the chat box. So if you'd like to keep them to yourself.
Desperately clicking to see if it's the same one.
Sophie, again, I'm going to delete you because I've just said don't put them in the chat yet.
Oh,
We're
I
going to
didn't
do
get that
answers at the end, everyone. Answers at the end. So just keep fire for now. Hang fire. Emmy, you're just going to have to wait if there's any Judy questions. I'm sure you'll find the answer. Is Judy on? Apology accepted. You don't have to come to detention. You're fine. No excuse, Sophie. No excuse. Rosie, have you got anything? Yeah. Okay. Right. So that was number 1. Number 2. How many Olympic Games have there been representatives from Team GB in women's football? So, how many Olympic Games have there been representatives from Team GB in women's football?
I was adding numbers of rosters up and teams and going right 20. Yeah, but you don't mean individual player representatives. You mean
No. So literally, when has Team GB gone to the Olympics with a women's football team? How many times?
okay?
And again, if you do know the years, extra points, but not a prerequisite. Okay. Rosie, have you got something? Yeah, okay. Okay. In Tokyo 2020, can you remember or can you guess who won gold, silver, and bronze? And for a bonus point, who came in 4th? So all of those final matches. So in Tokyo 2020, who were the top 4 teams, aka who won gold, silver, bronze, and the really sad 4th place team? So the last Olympics, Tokyo 2020.
Oh, it's really bad that I can't remember when GB went out.
I'm not going to do that. I'm afraid.
That's okay. You didn't know this was happening, so you didn't have time to revise. So it's okay.
No, and I think that's not very fair. I don't really.
Hey, if you just know it, if you don't have to look it up.
If you'd like to lodge a complaint, you can message Sam and he will laugh. Okay. The final one, Ellen White is Team GB's top goal scorer at the Olympic Games. How many goals in total has she scored? So she is Team GB's top goal scorer overall in total. How many goals has she scored? I'm just loving the concentration on Paul's face.
It's panic.
I'm taking an educated guess.
It's panic
That's
cunningly
all we can-
disguised.
Just, yeah, like Rosie said, best educated guess. And Rosie, just for your information, Sam will hear all complaints and politely file them and leave them for all eternity. Just to let you know.
File them in that special circular in tray. Oh, I'm adding up now. Why am I so bothered about this? If this can we have which one of us gets nearer?
Sure.
Neither of us gets it right.
Go on then. Rosie's agreed. Yeah, we'll go nearest goal. Okay.
I definitely haven't got it exact. If I had it,
I'm just interested.
Right, okay, I've picked.
Okay. No. Okay, Paul's picked. Right. So everyone in the chat, if I deleted your comments, then pretty much you got it right. So the first time women's football debuted at the Olympics was Atlanta in 1996. Atlanta in 1996.
Wait,
So
I
again,
said USA.
Unfortunately.
I am willing, as the competitor here, I am willing to trade Rosie, saying, because Rosie said made a concession with me, I am willing to trade out of goodwill and say I am happy for her to have USA. If you got the year right.
Well, that's very, very kind of you. So yes, Rosie, you can have that point then. There we go. So there were 2 points on offer there for 1996 and for Atlanta. So people in the comments, you can put your answers now. That's absolutely fine for the questions. Right. Number 2 was, how many Olympic Games has there been a representative from Team GB? How many did we say?
Twice.
Twice. Only twice. Did you get any years, Paul?
London and Tokyo. So
London and
2012 and I put 2020 even though it was technically 2021 because I don't know how it's referring to.
I've just seen in the chat. Yes, absolutely. So it was 2012 first time and 2020. Do you want to know why there weren't more Team GB representatives in women's football, considering it came in 1996? Because the home nations couldn't agree on how many people they would send for the actual Team GB to represent. And it was only in 2020, because obviously it was a home Olympics for London, so they had to send one. And they only just agreed in 2020. That's how long it took them to reach an agreement there. So yes, so twice, 2012 and 2020. Right. In Tokyo 2020, who won gold, silver, bronze, and ultimately 4th place, if you could remember? Now, Paul, just looking at yours, so you've got Canada, Sweden, Australia. So is that in order? Gold, silver, bronze?
Yeah, first, second, third, fourth.
Okay. I can give you a point for Sweden because they got silver. And that's it. Rosie, what did you go for?
You're not going to give me Canada?
Oh, hang on. Yes, of course. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't.
I was like, hold on.
Just giving everyone heart attacks. No, Canada didn't win. Yes, of course. Sorry. Let's start that one again.
Are you anticipating the drone scandal? Are you like, everyone's going to go up one?
Yeah, I've just rewritten history. I've just gone into every Wikipedia entry and gone, nope, not happening. Still gutted about that, by the way. So gold was Canada. Silver was Sweden. Bronze, any shouts for bronze? Rosie, any ideas?
I don't want to say.
USA got bronze.
Oh, I said USA. Okay, I didn't want to be
Go
wrong.
with your gut. Go with
If
your
you
gut.
tell me they beat Australia, I'm going to be raging.
Paul.
If this is the point, if this is the point that cost me the quiz, you're just going to see the screen rotating as I throw the laptop across the room.
And I'm just going to copy and paste so you can see from my notes. There you go.
Oh, that's so annoying.
So it should have been Canada, Sweden, USA, and Australia. Okay, last one then was Ellen White. So we said closest wins. So she is Team GB's top goal scorer. I think out of the top 20, she was the only person from Team GB in it. How many goals do you think that she scored?
A massive short hair. I didn't realise we were doing 2 Olympics.
Go on then, what'd you get?
So 28.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Right.
Because I was kind of going, no, I don't want to explain it because I sound dumb now.
No. Please explain where that came from.
I didn't realise. So, right, I'm not. Yeah, I didn't realise that we weren't at all the Olympics. So I said 7 Olympics, and then an average of 4 goals per Olympics, which
Would
makes
you?
sense, right? But
Hey, I love the maths that went into it. That's great. Yeah, I love the logic, and it's great. I will just. I'm trying to get the table up again that I
I
found.
didn't know that we weren't in.
Paul, how many did you go for?
Not 28. I'm going to go 27 now. Just
You can't change it.
I initially went for 6. So I think I'm going to be nearer either way. I just thought I'd troll by going, can I change to 27?
Paul, it's 6. She got 6.
That was a reaction face. Did you see the reaction face then? Just the pure shock.
Love that. Oh, that was fantastic. Yeah. Now, just to put it into perspective, Rosie, you're 28. The highest number of goals ever scored in one tournament is 14. And that was by Cristiana from Brazil.
That's one tournament. I was thinking about 7.
Okay, so like all together, yeah,
Right.
total tournaments, yeah. So 14 across one tournament. Let's have a look. The highest we've got, Viviana Miedema. How many goals do you think she scored in 2020? Viviana Miedema.
7.
Bonus point. You're going to go for 7. Okay, Paul, what do you think?
Hold on. Bonus. What?
Bonus point. Yeah.
Can I not get a double? Wow.
How
I'm
many
for
goals
1
did
point
she
now.
score in 2020?
8.
Move it. Both wrong, I'm afraid. 10. She scored 10 in 2020, and that is why she's the GOAT for that one. So thank you very much in taking part in my little impromptu quiz. Emma, correct. 28. Yeah, it's always going to be 28. In fact, Judy Murray scored 28. She's the highest goal scorer at the Olympics in women's football for Team GB.
Is that just not the number of match points Andy Murray saved this Olympics?
And still didn't take over. But never mind. But he didn't really like tennis anyway, did he? So it's okay.
No.
It's all good.
Oh, Portuguese for I don't really like football is I nunca gostei de futebol. So there you go. I never
Thank
liked
you very
football
much.
anyway.
Hey, never let it be said that we're not bilingual and we don't appeal to our overseas audiences. So that's it. Thank you for that, Paul. Thank you very much. Hey, we've had Portuguese, we've had Italian. Well, tried Italian. We've had all sorts tonight. So thank you very much, everyone. And that we did go on a bit too long, but I do apologise. But that's it. That's all we've got time for this evening. So, socials, if you've enjoyed us, we are here every Wednesday night at 8:30. And you can find us on the following, where you can like, subscribe, love, follow, retweet, repost, whatever you do, really, on the lovely interwebs. So on Twitter, we've got at Absolute Ball Pod, on YouTube at Absolute Football Podcast, and the same for Twitch as well. On TikTok, we are at Absolute Football Pod, and Instagram and Threads, we are at Absolute Football Podcast _. Facebook, we are the Absolute Football Podcast. And remember, it's not just us on a Wednesday. We've got Mondays, which is Premier League show, and Thursdays, which is lower league as well. Now, Rosie has turned into Emma with the loading screen of death. So what we'll do, Paul would say thank you and goodbye to you first, and hopefully Rosie appears to say her goodbyes. No, she's gone. She's had enough.
She's gone.
She's off. So Paul, thank you very much for this evening. Where can people find you if you'd like them to?
I've done it right. There we go. You can find me. That isn't my actual Twitter name, although I might change it for the final at least.
I think you should. Yeah.
Forza Marta. It's at Paul W Radio there, and occasionally on Reddit WSL at Little Bit Tistic, but not very often.
Thank you very much. And thank you for listening, Emma. Thank you very much for getting involved as usual. So yeah, also tonight, it wasn't just us two. We did start with 4. We've kind of lost people along the way. So we had the lovely Rosie and we had the lovely Chloe as well. You can scroll back a bit to find their Twitter handles and things. And if you want to follow me, I'm at T4AT across all social media, or I'm also at the whole 115 yards talking about all things Villa. So thank you very much, everyone, and in the chat. And Sam's going to leave us with the fun fact that he was born in the same town as Ellen White, but unfortunately he has 0 Olympic medals, but one's got a silver in a swimming gala. And Sam, I think that's the best moment of the night. Thank you very much. So thank you, everyone. Good night, good evening, and we will see you next week. Thank you.